To us, Batman's identity is a common piece of knowledge. He is billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne. But the question is, would you be able to figure out Batman's identity if you were a person living in the DC universe? Before I start, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. To start off, in this scenario, Batman is already well established as a superhero. So he isn't some random criminal breaking and entering in a batsuit, nor is he some sort of mythology that parents tell their kids to be good. And because he is well established, that means there'll be pictures. A lot of them might be grainy, but there are probably some clear pictures or clear enough to indicate some of Batman's physical traits. From his little chin cutout, you can tell he has fair skin, indicating that he's most likely Caucasian or of European descent. And there are also indications from the comics that show Batman with a 5 o'clock shadow when he's working very late, and so it could be possibly seen by some people. But black colored hair is very common around the world, so it doesn't really help. As for his height and size, you can tell he's really tall and really big. Obviously the little pointy ears give him some extra inches, and most likely his boots as well, but most of it is him, indicating he's anywhere from 6 feet to 6'6". He would weigh anywhere from 200 to up to 275 depending on the height. This is because it requires a lot of mass to take out 3 to 4, 5, 10 goons, or giant monsters that weigh 500 plus. Another physical trait is how ripped Batman is, which you can see due to how tight Batman's suit is. So to build a picture, we're looking for a tall, heavy guy with an athletic body, fair skin, and black hair. The next step to figuring out who Batman is through the financial aspect. I do want to state that the people of Gotham most likely also have the theory that Batman is also superpowered, just like his other friends. But superpowers don't equal to money, which is going to be extremely necessary for all his customized gadgets. And there have definitely been sightings of his Batmobile, the Batplane, other similar vehicles, and the streets of Gotham are most likely littered with the amount of batarangs Batman has used throughout the years, and grappling gun hooks that are still attached to the rooftops of many of the areas in Gotham. All of that, along with his fancy suit, definitely means he has some kind of funding. So now where does the funding come from? The first place to look for would be the companies and corporations that exist in Gotham City. So the common examples of these companies would be Wayne Enterprises, Stag Industries, GothCorp, and many, many more, as it is a metro. Out of the 3 companies I mentioned, Stag Industries and GothCorp can be crossed out as they have gone up against Batman as the villain. This leaves Wayne Enterprises as the obvious candidate, but you have to ask yourself, why would a billion or even trillion-dollar corporation fund a vigilante? Because that's how Batman started as, not a superhero. While the fines and legal rulings may not be that much for the company of this massive size, it would begin to tarnish their reputation being associated with a criminal that beats people up at night, which could ruin possible alliances, deals, funding. So it's hard for me to say that a corporation is backing Batman. The next option would be the government, and this could be a pretty plausible explanation for who Batman is and who funds him, as his skills and funding require a large organization of some sort, so why not the government? One plot hole to this theory would be that Batman was originally branded a criminal and chased down by the GCPD, but I could also claim to that Batman was put in there by a secret agency by himself to stop crime, but more importantly, root out the corruption that existed within the GCPD along with the many crime families that are active in Gotham, like the Falcone crime family, the Bertinelli crime family, the Sicilian Mafia, Russian Mafia, triads, etc. And since he doesn't kill people, though I don't know how non-lethal breaking people's necks are, but these types of agencies that I'm referring to have done worse things to more people, so this is not that far of a stretch. The other possible theory would be a shadowy organization not attached to any government that may follow some sort of extreme idealism, kind of like a cult would, but they also have deep pockets. And this isn't even that crazy considering that the Court of Owls exists in the DC universe. who are a bunch of rich people that control Gotham, but they're evil. However, they would have the power to make something like Batman. If either of the two are correct, and the people of Gotham believe that, you'll also kind of understand that it would be almost impossible to find out, as it would be heavily redacted or erased, depending on who funds Batman's activities and how much pull they have. They can also have other theories depending on what they saw, like maybe he's an alien, or some sort of wizard, or a monster. And finally, I want to add in the reason why Bruce Wayne wouldn't be a possible candidate for being Batman. However, he could be a possible candidate as a funder for Batman. And the main reason comes down to his reputation. He has built an ironclad one as a rich playboy, essentially a douchebag. And the tabloids publish his crazy adventures, hooking up with a different woman each week, partying each night, possibly doing drugs, drinking, crashing cars that cost thousands if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, etc. All of this which creates rumors about the man, and so this crazy reputation that he has as a party boy, which would be hard to connect with the self-serving justice provided by Batman on a daily night. In real life, it would be like saying that Jake Paul is the head of the CIA. An absolutely ridiculous statement. And this party boy reputation can help explain a lot of the side effects that occur from being Batman. In fact, I saw a fan-made post discussing a possible class day in a Gotham University, discussing how correlation does not imply causation, and using the example of Batman and Bruce Wayne, where it's noticed that when Batman disappears, so does Bruce Wayne. And the professor explains that this doesn't mean that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but more likely that because Batman disappears, Bruce Wayne knows he's the biggest target in Gotham for all the criminals because of his wealth, and so he dips out too. So in conclusion, it would be very difficult to figure out that Batman is actually Bruce Wayne, unless you had a specific key piece of evidence, like Tim Drake seeing a gymnastic maneuver that he had previously seen done by the Flying Graysons in the Haley Circus.